This is the book of 2nd Esdras, chapter 9 and verse 1. He answered me then and said, Measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs past which I have told thee before, then shalt thou well understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. For like as all that is made in the world hath a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest, even so the times also of the highest have plain beginnings and wonderful beginnings and wonder and powerful works and endings and effects and signs. Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushua, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushua. Ka Lord Imla Yahweh Bahasham, Yahushua Bahasham, Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders, a great millstone, rule web, and a great example to the young brothers in the truth, and peace and blessing to the hopefully lit. Lord, with this edifying lesson, I'm going to get straight into it. It's another edition of Measure Thou the Time Diligently.
Thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you.
They are really sad scenes we're seeing, but it's all too familiar. A similar incident happened the day before. What's going on?
We don't know. We simply do not know. So whale strandings are a mystery, because if we knew why and when they would happen, we'd try and prevent them, but we just don't. Yeah, and the fact that this stranding yesterday occurred the same day as a previous stranding 2 years ago involving the same species is interesting. But also the fact that there was 14 sperm whales in a similar location stranded the day before that. What's going on?
A frightening quake.
Let me get this real quick. This Hosea chapter. Oh, why I go to this? I'm on the wrong. Hosea chapter 4, and I'm gonna get straight to the point. Verse 3, it reads, Therefore, I read one. Hear the word of the Lord, ye children of Israel. For the Lord hath a controversy with the inhabitants of the land, because there is no truth, nor mercy, nor knowledge of Yahweh in the land. By swearing and lying and killing and stealing and committing adultery, they break out, and blood toucheth blood. Therefore shall the land mourn, and every one that dwelleth therein shall languish, with the beasts of the field, and with the fowls of heaven, yeah, the fishes of the sea also shall be taken away. And that's what's going on, because the wickedness that's going on in the earth, even though this scripture was speaking unto the children of Israel, this go for the whole earth. Anybody, whoever in charge, so to speak, of the land. And that's why these things happening, because this place is the Lord have a controversy with the inhabitants of the earth, ultimately.
Has shaken Mexico on a day viewed by some as cursed. The nation's residents had paused to remember the victims of 2 deadly tremors when hours later another one struck.
Dr. Jones, we mentioned this before, your reaction. September 19th is a day that's had 2 earthquakes, and an hour before this quake, they'd had a nationwide earthquake drill. That is such an odd coincidence.
It is an odd coincidence.
A ceremony had just been held to mark the anniversary of 2 other major quakes. 5 years ago, more than 350 people died, and in 1985, the devastation in Mexico was widespread.
And of course, on September 19th, 1985, an earthquake in Mexico killed 5,000.
Since 1985, it happened now 3 times on this one day. It is just an unusual coincidence.
Lunchtime in Mexico and the earth is jolted. High above the ground, they had nowhere to go.
Oh my God, look at the other buildings. They're all swaying.
Religious mass wasn't spared as panic and confusion spread on the streets.
Oh my God, everything's really flying around.
From hotel rooms in Puerto Vallarta.
The 7.6 magnitude quake centered on the Pacific coast.
We've got some more breaking news overnight as well. A powerful 6.8 magnitude earthquake struck Mexico, killing at least 2 people.
This is the second quake in the area this week. A 7.6 magnitude earthquake shook the area on Monday.
But it could be felt hundreds of miles away in Mexico City. It all comes just 3 days after another deadly quake about 200 miles away on the Pacific coast.
Well, check this out. This is Devil's Hole at Death Valley. So on Monday, park rangers there were able to tell that there was an earthquake somewhere just by watching the water move in Devil's Hole. Now, this was a result of that 7.6 quake that shook in Mexico. This is how, like, water sloshes in your pool when there's an earthquake. So many of you remember that Devil's Hole is also home of the endangered pupfish.
A 7.8 deadly earthquake struck that same area just 3 days ago. That's always a reminder for us here in California.
We're
to
along
be
that fault
prepared.
line.
We sure are.
I was thinking about that because last week we had 3 earthquakes pretty much in a row, and I was thinking to myself, I'm not prepared at all. Like, if it happened in the middle of the night, do I put my mattress over me? So I started thinking and researching, and it's a good reminder to all of us.
To California now, where a 4.
This the book of Isaiah, chapter 29 and verse 6. Thou shalt be visited of the Lord of hosts with thunder and with earthquake. Shalakia. With thunder and with earthquake and great noise, with storm and tempest in the flame of devouring fire. And that's how the Lord is visiting the earth. With storm, tempest, earthquake, you know, what they call global or whatever. They call it climate change. But that's how the Lord is beginning to visit, you know.
4 magnitude earthquake rattled some nerves near Santa Rosa last night. Initial quake was followed by a strong aftershock just 1 minute later.
One resident said that her dogs were acting strangely about 10 seconds before the quake hit.
A hair-raising moment in Santa Rosa last night at 6:39 p.m. as a 4.4 earthquake hit.
Now to the North Bay, where neighbors in Santa Rosa have noticed a strange side effect from last week's earthquake, a surge in water flowing right through a popular creek.
Quake, obviously, we kind of get our bearings.
John McCauley and Suzanne Dickinson felt the shaking, and soon after saw that Mark West Creek near their home looked different than it did before.
The creek went from looking like a pond, no discernible flow, to look like waves of flow, so it was increasing dramatically in this time span of minutes.
Right after the quake.
Right after the quake.
And that was the first thing for me. I looked out the window and I was like, wow, all the rocks are gone.
Obviously something shifted around to increase the flow dramatically. We looked at it and it looked like there was a wave of water coming down the stream.
Wow.
And it was as if you were at the seashore and you watch the wave break and the wave washes up on it, and each successive wave kind of washes up further and closer as the tide is coming in. That's what I would liken it to.
One KCRA viewer shared this video with us. Take a look. She had some damage at her home. Quite a few of her wine bottles came crashing down. At least one of them broke.
Yeah, and animals are very keen at sensing earthquakes. This cat was clearly shaken up. You could hear it. KPIX 5's Betty Yu is in downtown Santa Rosa, where the quake even disrupted some dinner plans.
Crazy. Everything was shaking. The chef ran out.
Customers felt 2 jolts.
On the official one felt like everybody was like scared. The second one, everybody ran out. It was pretty intense.
Taiwan's president has activated the island's Central Emergency Operations Center, responding to a 6.9 magnitude earthquake that hit the southeast corner of Taiwan earlier today.
This is the book of Luke, chapter 21 and verse 7. It say, and they asked him, saying, Master, but when shall these things be? And what shall be there? And what sign will be there when these things come to pass? And he said, take heed that no man does. He said, take heed that ye be not deceived. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Hamashiach, who the word ignorantly called Christ. and the time draweth near. Go ye, and go ye not therefore after them. But when ye shall hear of wars and commotions, be not terrified, for these things must first come to pass, but the end is not by and by. Verse 10, it say, and then said he unto them, nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and great earthquakes shall be in diverse places, and famines, and pestilence, and fearful sights, and great signs shall there be from heaven.
Severe aftershocks continue to rock Taiwan in the wake of the 6.9 magnitude earthquake that struck southern regions of the island.
This quake was reported overnight. It was so strong that it toppled a 3-story building. Several people were rescued from beneath the rubble.
Nearly 150 others were injured. The quake derailed trains, causing buildings to collapse, and trapped hundreds on mountains and roads. Now, a tsunami warning was issued in the moments following the earthquake.
A badminton game pauses, then the world comes crashing down. Taiwan shaken. A 6.9 magnitude quake on Sunday afternoon crumbled this 7-Eleven store and apartment building. 4 people, including a child, were rescued here. Japan issued a tsunami warning, but the waves stayed down. In Taiwan, the tremor stranded tourists and shook trains. Some derailed, riders were brought to a halt on this road. The mountain slipped, streets cracked, and some disappeared. 23 years ago, almost to the day, 2,400 people died. A different outcome this time.
And then here in Taipei, at my place, 200 miles away, the shaking was so intense and has been continuing that even in the aftershocks, you almost feel like you're on a boat when the building starts swaying back and forth. No serious damage, but I'll tell you what, I feel motion sick, and I have for much of the day, as have much of my friends here in Taipei who live on a higher floor. And so everybody just kind of hoping that the worst of these quakes are over.
And so we need to remember that context, that what you feel isn't just the magnitude. It's that intensity number that really tells you what to expect in terms of damage.
And so now is a good time sort of to remind our viewers that we are living in earthquake country. So if you wouldn't mind, again, sharing all of the advice that we need to hear.
Right.
Yeah.
At least in Southern California, we aren't going to get a tsunami. We don't have this type of subduction zone here, but we do have the San Andreas. We could easily have this large an earthquake.
And that's pretty much the point. Lord willing, that was edifying. I want to end it giving all honor and glory to Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Rakakwadash, double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, rule well, been a great example to his young brothers in the truth, and peace and blessing to the hopeful elect. Shalom, Kwame Yashala, and the Bible Ball. Shalom.